Good afternoon, garden friends, and today I am going to be working in my side garden. We had some really heavy rain and it did a number on my flower bed. So what I'm going to do today is get things cleaned up because it is just driving me crazy to have this so unorganized and not pretty. I'll show you. I'm gonna have to pull out my cosmos because I think I was doing them wrong, and they've like pretty much died back. But I'm gonna plant a hibiscus in the two spots to, keep that color there, but also keep it lower to the ground. And then when I show you my zinnias are just crazy tall, and they're blending into my Texas vertex tree. But I'm going to be redesigning this area for next year, because one of the things that I am learning is, depending upon the size of the plant, how much room it actually needs. And where I have my zinnias at is too close to the tree and it's bleeding over into it, but I'll show you what I mean. But then I'm also going to do some harvesting of my dahlias and my zinnias, and like I said, just get some things cleaned up. All right, well, come along with me. Okay, so as you can see, my dahlias are doing exceptionally well, but they are bleeding over into my Texas vertex. So like I said, I'm going to do some harvesting and make a couple of bouquets and what have you, and then just get stuff just a little bit more organized too. So all right, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get that done. And then you can see my cosmos. You look at them. They're like really dead and dying back. But I'm gonna do some more deadheading also of my scabioses pin cushions, and get those guys all cleaned up. So I'm gonna just go ahead and get this stuff knocked out. Everything is looking okay. My Bobo hydrangea finally got some buds on it, but it was having some chlorosis, and I did put some iron tone on it. Might have to do another shot. And then my clemone, I think that too has some chlorosis issues, because this is like my first time growing these guys. But the goal is for me to come on up here to get this stuff nice and situated to where it looks nice and neat. Oh, and it looks like my rose bush broke. Huh, interesting. Well, I'll have to, oh man, and that was a nice sturdy branch. Have to see what's going on with that. But look at these guys. This is just like a field of dreams. It's so pretty. I do love my black-eyed Susies. But let me tell you a couple things that we're doing and the reason why. Okay, so this here is our property line and where it goes to the fence. What we're gonna do is extend this bed out to where, like, my zinnias, my scabious pin cushions right there, and my dahlias, I'm going to put back on this side to where they have some support of the fence and can grow as big as they want to, because this area back here gets tons of sun back here. And oh guys, look here. This is my new rose that I got called Easy Spirit. Look how pretty that is. I gotta deadhead it, but it's doing so well up here. But yeah, so I'm gonna make a couple of bouquets to get these dahlias trimmed back. And as you see, the stalks are nice and thick, but the weight of the flower, because they got so many on them, is just breaking it down. But you know, like I said, with gardening, it is trial and error, and this was my first try at doing a side garden, a cut and come again garden. So let me go ahead and get to working on this. But yeah, look at the gumfrina. Gumfrina is doing really, really well. And I think what I'm gonna do too is next season in the front, aside from my black-eyed Susies, because I love these guys right here, is I'm going to put lower plants that don't get that high, so that as my tree grows, you can see it. Because let me do this, because you can see the base of it. And this guy will get about 8 to 10 foot tall. So once that gets the height that it should be, I won't be bleeding over into the flower bed, or the flowers won't be bleeding over to it. So I think next year I'm going to go with plants that may not get any taller than 10 to 12 inches. All right, so let me go ahead and get this situated. And then the other reason too, guys, that we're going to be putting the fence up is our neighbor's driveway is right next to ours. And you know, when I'm doing a video, I don't want to be capturing or having to worry about capturing their license plates or anything like that. So that's part of the reason. Okay, so I got the flower bed cleaned up. As you see, I put a hibiscus in here, and this guy will get about 3 foot tall. I don't mind that back here. But one thing that I am learning is know the size of the flowers that you end up planting. Did not realize that the zinnias were going to get this tall. And like I said, while I like it, it's just a little too crowded for me. You cannot see the definition of the Texas vertex tree. So like I said, the dahlias next year will be up against the side fence that's going to go along our neighbor's yard. But like I said, this is definitely a learning experience for me on what did well, what I am going to think twice about doing. Now, I love the limon, but I think I need to probably put it in a different location, because that too spills over into the pathway. But like I said, it's still beautiful to get past all them bees. The hydrangea is doing good, but yeah, like I said, when you look at it from this way, it's nice, but I'm gonna change things up for next season. Some things I'm gonna leave. More than likely my rose bushes, my foxgloves, my veronicas are probably gonna stay the same. But the one thing that I'm gonna do, as you see, I sort of stood up in my white wedding I might move that second one maybe down more towards a flat area, because that's up on a hill, and maybe move the hawthorn up there. But my rose bush is doing well. I cannot wait until my mulchi grass starts to burst through with color. My dahlias, I took some out. Like I said, I'm learning, you know, when you have a small flower bed, you have to be smart about what you end up putting in there. And I planted another hibiscus right here, and then the gomphrena. I will probably do the gomphrena again next season, but like I said, the zinnias I'm going to not put there, nor am I going to put my cosmos there, because the cosmos was actually where I put the zinnia, and like it shows earlier in the video, it was all dried out. But yeah, this Texas Vertex, once it gets the height, it's going to look really, really nice and be above where the flower bed is. And like I said, I'm going to be focusing more on plants that don't get any taller than, you know, 10 to 12 inches. And look at these bees. They are just having a field day. This thing is covered with bees. I gotta be careful so I don't get stung by them brushing into them. But, and then my climbing rose bush, it's doing okay. But I'm noticing that a lot of yellow spots on it. But I did read somewhere that first year, especially a climber, what you end up doing is when the season is over, you pluck all the leaves off of it. So I'm going to do that when it's time to trim that. But of course, my black-eyed Susies, and then I do love these scabioses. I think if I can get seeds from these, because look at that, I just love that. I mean, it's like a black color, and then I have the combination of the white in there, and then I also have, these are sort of dyed back. Oh, but here you can see it. It has the pink color, and when this thing is in full bloom, it is just so pretty with the array of colors. So, like I said, the Secret Garden, while pretty, did not do what I wanted it to do. But like I said, that's the one thing about gardening, is you got to be willing to learn and make the necessary adjustments. So like I said, the main thing is the zinnias, the dahlias, and also the cosmos, which I will probably do those again next year, but I am going to put them in another spot. And the one good thing too out of this whole process, like I had said earlier, I did end up harvesting some of the zinnias, so I was able to make some bouquets, which I'll end up showing at the end. Here are some flower arrangements I was able to make from my dahlias and my zinnias and put on my table. Once again, thank you for visiting Inspiring Garden Corner.